number.
So $51 trillion of debt up from $33 trillion doesn't bother you?
I think the path that is set out in the president's budget is fiscally sustainable.
Okay.
What, Liz?
Isn't it a fact that the president's budget proposes new taxes of $4.7 trillion?
That's probably right, yes.
Okay. And isn't it a fact, I'm talking about gross debt now, not public, not debt held by the public. Isn't it a fact that under the president's proposed budget, gross debt would go from $32.7 trillion at the close of this year to $50.7 trillion by 2033?
Debt subject to statutory limitation, yes, would go, as you said.
So the president's budget would increase our debt by $18 trillion.
Hey everyone, welcome to Capital Insights. Today I'm breaking down one of the most intense congressional hearings you'll want to see. Senator John Kennedy just absolutely dismantled Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen in a budget hearing that's going to make your jaw drop. If you want the inside scoop on what's really happening with our government spending, make sure you subscribe right now and hit that notification bell. Let's talk numbers. Since 2019, the federal government's budget has skyrocketed by 55%. And get this, while the population has only grown by 1.8%. That's not a typo. The government is spending money like there's no tomorrow.
Okay.
In outlays.
Isn't it a fact that the president's budget proposes new taxes of $4.7 trillion?
That's probably right, yes.
Okay. And isn't it a fact, I'm talking about gross debt now, not public, not debt held by the public. Isn't it a fact that under the president's proposed budget, gross debt would go from $32.7 trillion at the close of this year to $50.7 trillion by 2033?
Debt subject to statutory limitation, yes, would go, as you said.
So the president's budget would increase our debt by $18 trillion.
Which is $3 trillion less.
What the president's saying is, these are my words, not his. Because of his budget, we're going to have 3 heart attacks and a stroke instead of 4 heart attacks and a stroke.
Well, I would not agree that we're going to have 3 heart attacks and a stroke because we have a very large economy. And while the numbers that you cite are very big numbers, the size of our economy is also extremely large number.
So $51 trillion of debt up from $33 trillion doesn't bother you?
I think the path that is set out in the president's budget is fiscally sustainable. It's
What percentage of our GDP, what debt as a percentage of our GDP is too much?
so it depends on what interest rates are. I mean by that, but I've certainly
Well,
studied.
do you
Keynesian-
believe it's acceptable? Indeed, it's admirable for government when you're in a slow period, a recession, or bordering a recession, to stimulate the economy by borrowing money and spending?
It certainly can be. I certainly,
That's
you know,
what
there
I
are
mean.
different.
That's what I mean by Keynesian. Do you support that?
Well, there are different tools that can be used to stimulate an economy that's in a downturn, and it's monetary policy is an alternative tool. And
But let me go back to my question. Keynes said that when you're in a recession, you can borrow money and spend it, government can, to stimulate the economy and get you out of the recession.
Well, I'm not going to make a blanket statement that I agree with that.
Well, let me ask you if you agree with this. A lot of people who say they're Keynesians, and based on what I've read of your writings, you are a Keynesian.
But
they forget the second part of what Keynes said. He said after you get out of the recession, you pay the money back. Did he not?
I don't recall that he said that.
He said it. I can show you that one too.
Well, show me that to me.
I promised the chairman I wouldn't go over, and I want to yield back 2 seconds.
Thank you, Senator Kennedy.
Kennedy challenged Yellen on the fundamental principle of government borrowing, arguing that while stimulus during a recession might be okay, the key is paying the money back afterward. Yellen seemed reluctant to fully commit to that part of the economic theory. This hearing was a masterclass in congressional questioning. Senator Kennedy didn't just ask questions, he dismantled economic arguments piece by piece. Whether you're a political junkie or just want to understand what's happening with your tax dollars, this is a must-watch breakdown. If you found this breakdown valuable, smash that subscribe button on Capitol Insights, hit the notification bell, and let me know in the comments, do you think Senator Kennedy made valid points? Drop your thoughts below.